Greetings to everyone tuning in. In today's video, we are going to systematically break down the specific behavioral markers that can help you identify a woman who is unreliable and prone to fickleness. You likely encounter these personality types in the world every day, and unfortunately, some men have already had the misfortune of trying to build serious relationships with them, which almost always end in tragedy. Let us approach the most crucial and intriguing aspects of this topic step by step. I would like to begin by defining what constitutes a human personality. I view it essentially as a collection of dynamic behavioral inclinations. The vast majority of our tendencies are shaped by our life experiences. The more extensive that experience is, the higher the probability that it becomes an integral part of a person's character. To put it simply without overcomplicating things, consider a smoker who quits after years of the habit. They do not truly eliminate the deep-seated psychological groove left by tobacco. Similarly, someone addicted to the internet who takes a break for 1 or 2 weeks does not actually get rid of the internal desire to fill their void with digital noise. The same logic applies to relationships and lifestyle choices. If a woman is accustomed to frequenting nightclubs and spending her evenings in bars, this speaks volumes about her inherent inclinations. When you enter a relationship with such a person, you are essentially placing yourself on one side of the scale and her little weaknesses on the other. While you might outweigh her habits in the beginning simply because you are a new and novel part of her life, there are absolutely no guarantees as time goes on. In the initial stages of dating, everything might look respectable on the surface. You might ask a party girl if she plans to keep drinking and staying out late, and she will confidently assure you that those days are over or that you will only go out together. However, anyone with even a minimal amount of experience knows exactly how this scenario unfolds. You might agree to only party together, but the moment she feels an attraction to someone else, those agreements crumble instantly. Promises made during the height of emotional passion are often empty. Once the initial fire cools down, those contracts are broken without a second thought, and the same mechanism applies to the tendency toward infidelity. Is it possible to cure a predisposition to cheating? If a girl has already established behavioral patterns that increase the likelihood of betrayal, that risk remains forever. The danger of betrayal exists just as much in the first few months as it does after 17 years of marriage. Take the example of a party girl. For her, stumbling home in the early morning hours after a night of drinking is just her way of living fun. If she has already crossed certain moral barriers for the sake of fleeting pleasure, perhaps even experimenting with substances, then cheating on a boyfriend becomes just another interesting quest to unlock. Staying faithful is seen as a restriction standing between her and her desires. She is already used to bypassing moral boundaries in the club environment, so finding a justification to sleep with someone else will be effortless for her. Human beings are incredibly skilled at making deals with their own conscience when it involves indulging their weaknesses. Of course, if you ask a woman directly about cheating when you first meet, every single one will claim to be loyal. You will hear phrases like, "I could never betray someone I love," or "that is disgusting to me," because no one admits to their dark side up front. We are not talking about the rare exceptions where a person immediately reveals their toxic nature. We're talking about the norm where people present their best selves. I strongly recommend that you do not just watch this video once and make abstract conclusions, but rather watch it 2 or 3 times, perhaps even taking notes. The behavioral red flags I am about to list could literally save your future. While both genders cheat, female infidelity is often fatal for a relationship. It is rarely a standalone mistake where she immediately regrets it and begs for forgiveness. Usually, a woman stepping out means she has ceased to view her partner as her only one. Since female infidelity is deeply tied to emotions, a new partner is essentially a new love interest. Even if she does not leave for the first guy, she will leave for the second, or perhaps wait 6 months to a year, or even try to establish a love triangle. A woman who cannot be loyal to a boyfriend will never be a faithful wife. Through analyzing thousands of stories involving breakups, triangles, and complex betrayals, I have identified the typical signs of a flighty woman. The presence of even one of these traits is reason enough to doubt her integrity. Let us start with the most obvious visual marker, her appearance. If she wears incredibly short shorts, deep necklines, or dresses in a way that visually provokes men, this is a negative sign. Do not be naive and think she does not understand what she is doing. She knows exactly what reaction she is causing, and she wants to be devoured by the eyes of strangers. She may tell you she does it for herself, but there is no need to believe that lie. By dressing provocatively, a woman emphasizes her readiness to meet new candidates and her desire to compete with other women. A pathological lover of miniskirts will dress this way regardless of whether she is in a relationship, because maintaining a fresh flow of attention is more important to her than stability. Men often deceive themselves thinking they can change these women or that marriage will make them settle down. But this is naive. The moment there is a weak spot in your relationship, she will find a new admirer. This also applies to posting explicit or overly revealing photos on social media. Remember one rule: a woman who constantly broadcasts her beauty lives to increase her numbers. Her own vanity and demand in the dating market are paramount in her head, and she will not sacrifice that for you. Such a person is doomed to be unhappy in the long run, and the man beside her will be doubly miserable. The higher her opinion of herself, the easier it is for her to cross moral lines and blame you for it. The next major sign is a stormy youth. If a girl started dating and sleeping with men at a very early age, it implies she lacks internal boundaries. If there were already multiple partners by a young age, you can forget about those barriers entirely by the time you meet her. If she had a chaotic personal life where she dated one guy for a month, another for 2, and a third shortly after, it shows she views being with a man as mere entertainment. A high-quality woman takes life as a couple seriously and naturally maintains a distance from other men, whether they are colleagues, acquaintances, or neighbors. Ex-boyfriends should absolutely not be in the picture. A suitable partner does not let other men get close, does not accept flirtation, and does not keep a herd of admirers around her. If you are at the start of a relationship and she is receiving flowers from someone else or texting guys all day, you have walked into a trap and a soap opera is about to begin. It will evolve from simple triangles to complex geometric nightmares. Another category to watch out for is the adrenaline junkie. These are women who cannot live without an emotional high, regardless of the source. They might seek this through extreme sports, reckless driving, hitchhiking, or dangerous stunts. For a girl like this, a relationship is just another ride with ups and downs. She will view quarrels and even cheating as a source of necessary drama. She is willing to put her life and your relationship on a razor's edge just to feel something. Similarly, be wary of women who drink every Friday or spend every weekend at clubs. These women often do not know what they want from life and dedicate all their free time to hedonism, filling their internal hollowness with fantasies of being in a movie. If she lacks clear life goals, she is like a leaf blowing in the wind, and you can expect absolutely anything from her. Quiet periods with such women are just the calm before the storm. Eventually, her true nature will surface again. It is also unacceptable to consider women who have a history of being a mistress. The inclination to be the other woman does not come from nowhere. She derives emotions from that third-party dynamic, and if she accepts that role, the chance of a lover appearing in your relationship is incredibly high. Even if she claims she was deceived and did not know he was married, look at how she acted upon finding out. A decent person ends it immediately. If she stayed, the conclusion is obvious. Furthermore, look at her general behavior. If she is loud, rude, uses foul language, or loves being the center of attention through toxic methods, interacting with her will be like a street fight. If she sees an advantage, she will use dirty moves, and in a relationship, this manifests as scandals. Since she always thinks everyone else is bad and she is good, she will eventually take revenge on you with someone else. Watch how she talks about her exes. If she throws mud at them, you will be next on that list, and she will tell the next guy what a monster you were. A bright red flag is lying. If you catch her lying to your face or omitting the truth even once, know that she will do this her entire life. There are no small lies in this context. As the biblical saying goes, he who is unfaithful in little is unfaithful in much. A liar will justify their actions to the bitter end. Even if caught cheating, she will invent a story about how her lover is just a colleague giving her a ride to discuss accounting reports. Another obvious indicator is her circle of friends. Look at who she surrounds herself with and what they talk about. If her clique consists of glamorous girls who only gossip and discuss spas, clubs, and trips, you need to turn around and run. These friends often possess all the negative traits listed earlier combined. Finally, pay attention to bodily shame or the lack thereof. Even children naturally develop a reflex to cover themselves around the age of 5 or 6. If, after your first intimacy, a woman shows no desire to cover up and walks around completely naked, as if it is nothing, you should be concerned. It raises the question of how many men she has been in this situation with for her to have lost all sense of embarrassment. Experienced men can confirm that women who show modesty after the first encounter tend to be more decent, while those who parade around like Eve after knowing you for 2 days are usually very experienced in many areas, including inventing excuses for infidelity. Do not argue with such women. Instead, maintain a sense of curiosity and observation. Talk to them to understand their logic, which will help you better appreciate reliable women by contrast. The main takeaway from this discussion is that in the long term, a woman's fidelity depends very little on you. You can be rich, handsome, and perfect, but if her moral compass allows for cheating, it will happen. This realization should not scare you, but rather motivate you to analyze your choice of partner meticulously. A suitable woman's behavior should broadcast respect and a desire for harmony. If she brings stress and deprives you of comfort, stop and think. It is easy to agree with this video now, but in real life, when you meet a charismatic, exciting girl, you will want to deceive yourself. You will want to believe she is different, ignoring what you know to be true. Ask yourself why you lived differently before this. We all know right from wrong, yet we often live contrary to our beliefs. Here is a terrifying thought. Even a promiscuous woman or an escort does not consider herself a bad person. She genuinely believes she can be loyal. People love to believe their own lies rather than face uncomfortable truths. Based on thousands of consultations, I have realized the problem isn't that men cannot spot these signs. They are obvious to anyone willing to look. The problem is that men do not want to see them because they desire to be with that specific woman. To have a chance at a healthy relationship, you must stop catering to your own weaknesses. Adopt a simple, rigid principle. If anything in a woman's behavior bothers you in the first 6 months, be ready to end the relationship immediately and permanently. Any discomfort at the start guarantees problems in the future. If you want games and trouble, stay. Just do not call it love. It is merely gambling where everyone eventually loses. Thank you so much for reading. If you found these insights valuable, please support the content with a like and share your thoughts in the comments below.